he may not understand that you're not biologically blood related to him.
Right.
But he knows that you show up.
That's true.
He knows that you love him. So to him, blood don't matter right now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hey Dad Podcast. I'm Jean-Pierre Zafir.
Derek L. Davis.
And we want to thank you for continuing to support, watch, comment, like, share, subscribe, engage with us so we can continue to grow this thing. It means a lot, for real. Yeah. So, episode 3, we, 3 times the charm. We made it through.
I'm proud of us, Dad. I'm proud of us.
Some give up after 1 or 2.
Listen,
we made it to 3.
Hit record. Just do it. There we go.
So how's your week been, man?
It was good, man. It was a good week. No complaints. So I've been trying to be more consistent with daily outreach to the kids.
Okay.
Like I've been really trying to do that. Sometimes I let a couple of days go by, but I'm really trying to challenge myself to really do that. So that was one of the bigger focuses of my week was just daily engagement in some kind of way with the kids. But
big or small, right?
Yeah, big or small, man. Yeah. Don't even matter, man. Just some type of way of just connecting with them. That's it.
That's good.
Yeah, what about you, bro?
The week is, busy as always. You know what I'm saying? A lot of moving parts. My wife is all over the place. My daughter's working, moving. My grandson's moving. But it's good to have the family dynamic around. Definitely a busy week, productive week as always.
Good, brother. Good.
It's funny. I wanted to talk to you about something. A few weeks ago, I ran into a good brother I know. He had mentioned to me that he saw I don't think he's seen the episodes yet, but he saw the promo for the podcast.
Okay.
And we know each other pretty well, but we're not super close, but we're cool. And when he was like, yeah, I seen the promo for the podcast, and he wasn't. I don't think he was sure of my situation, or whatever. Like he knew I was a stepfather.
Okay.
So he asked me. He was like, "You got kids?" And he meant biologically, and I was like, nah. I was like, not biologically. I have stepchildren.
Right.
So he kind of stopped, and he was thinking. He was like, so there's certain things that you won't be able to speak to, and I was like, that is true, but it comes in many forms or whatever. So he wasn't trying to. He wasn't being disrespectful. He was just really thinking it out, like, But then we talked about it. He was just like, because blended families and all, that's a big thing or whatever, and you could speak to some things that I may not know about and things like that. So So it was interesting to have that conversation, and I was like maybe the first person to be like, not that he was like, so why are you doing a podcast?
Yeah.
You don't have, you know what I'm saying? But it almost, like he was just trying to think about it for a second. And I was like, it was just interesting. And then it made me kind of think about you. Like, you're a brother who has biological kids and stepkids.
Yeah.
But and what was your thought process of asking me to join, knowing I didn't have did that make a difference to you or like whatever?
Well, I think here's the thing. I think, number one, we have different experiences because of that, right? So I wanted to share this this podcast with someone who would bring a different perspective, number one, right? And that could have even been someone with biological children, right? Their experience is still going to be different, right? So, but in your case, number one, your character, I see the way you love on the kids in this house, right? And while you may not necessarily share the same blood, you still love them as if you did, right? So you're a good dude, good dad, so that character played a big part, and just how you love on them. And so to me, it didn't matter that, JP doesn't have biological, children. What mattered is, are you present? Are you showing love and respect to the kids? Are you a great example of a man, of a father, right? So, yeah, man, I just felt like you're setting a great example. So why not? There are guys who could have, technically I could have asked. However, if the character is not really the best, or they're not present, even though they're in the same home, right? But they're still not really having a positive impact on the children in their home, and they are their biological children, I wouldn't want them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think for me, you know, it was definitely just looking at all those things about your life and saying, as we talk about, you know, fatherhood on this platform to so many people, what type of perspectives will we bring? If we both, now here's the funny part: we may look alike, but we don't necessarily move alike.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it wouldn't have been much to it if I brought someone on here who had the same exact experiences as me. It just wouldn't have.
That's true. That is
So,
very true. Okay,
yeah.
that's a good perspective.
Yeah.
I was, you know, it kind of having that conversation with him, and I was talking about it now, kind of made me think back to when you first asked me about doing it with you.
Right.
And you know, you remember I was like, oh,
yeah, man, your whole body language, bro.
Right. But to be honest with you, one of the reasons I was like, was that, well, I don't have biological kids. Yeah. I kind of felt that way too, even though I know how I show up for my daughters and all that, and my grandson. So still, it was just kind of like, I thought about maybe other people watching the show and being like, well, he doesn't really have kids, so how can, you know, I kind of thought about it for a bit, but like I said, like I told him, I was like, once I went to the girls and asked them about it, and they was like, we would love to hear your, that's all that I needed really to be like, I'm gonna do this. So, you know, that kind of sealed it for me.
It's your impact, man. It's your impact. It's how you show up. I think that is the biggest thing that I think about, that I thought about. And long as they, you know, they gave you the thumbs up, you know, because I think we talked about it, or I may have mentioned in episode 1 that your kids would be the first ones to tell you that's not the same dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
so
right.
I just felt like that was something that, you know, we needed, that imbalance / balance, you know, on the show to talk about those things.
Yeah, and I feel like as we continue to do this, not just have conversations, but I can actually learn from you, from, you know, guests we'll have on the show about certain aspects of fatherhood that haven't reached me yet, or I haven't experienced, you know, and learn from others in, you know, in their travels of life, being fathers and things like that. So,
well, here's the thing too, man. You know, for me, I also thought about, am I in a position to really talk about this right now? Yes, I may have biological children, but like all of us as parents, there are moments and times and seasons when you don't feel like you're the best parent in the world. Whether or not that child is in the home with you, or whether or not that child is at a distance, you know, sometimes you just don't feel like you're doing the best job. And so I questioned myself, like, do I really want to do this? Because I felt like this was going to put a microscope on my life. And I'm a very private individual.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For the most part, you know, I have my levels of privacy. Certain things I share, certain things I don't necessarily share. And I really was thinking about, like, you know, just, am I really showing up? You know, could I do better? Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why for the past week I've been trying every day in some sort of way to connect with the children. But my what is the word I'm looking for? My situation for my family household is very blended. Yeah. Right? Very blended. 2 biological and technically 3, 4, 5 non-biological, but in some type of way I've operated in a fatherly role to them. Right. And listen, no disrespect to the biological dads that are in their lives and that do show up, you know, but at some point in time with all of these children, I've been in the role of a fatherly figure, right? So, and I haven't always done the best, in those roles, right? And I'm still learning. So,
it's definitely a process.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to bring that. Like, it was top of mind to me to bring that conversation I had with the good brother. Yeah. And see what your thoughts was about it, because it's kind of important. So.
And I mean, sometimes it's how people, you know him. I don't know this individual, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's how people say things. Sometimes it's it's the disposition of that person. Is that person a messy person? What was their intent, right? And like he said, there are things that he can address that you can, and vice versa. I mean, and I don't think it's necessarily that you can't address them per se, because if you're living under the same roof and guiding and being an example and all those things, I don't know, man. I mean, honestly, your grandson right now, he may not understand that you're not biologically blood related to him.
Right.
But he knows that you show up.
That's true.
He knows that you love him. So to him, blood don't matter right now.
No, I don't.
And it's not until later in life when you have a conversation to say, I'm not biologically your, but he's going to say, that don't make a difference to me.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I always say, like, it's never really, bloodline is always important, don't get me wrong, but it's always the nature of the relationship.
It's the nature of the relationship, man, and how you're showing up.
I mean, we have blood relatives that we're not close at all type of thing. So, you know, it all makes a difference.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of that, like, you were talking about some fathers in the household may not have the best relationship.
Yeah.
It sparked another question that I have for you in your situation. Now, you and your son, y'all not only you're not in the same house, but y'all in different states.
Yeah.
So you're parenting from a distance.
Yeah.
So my question is to you, what is that process like? What are the challenges? And how does he feel about it, as well as you?
I'm not sure how he feels. I mean, I know he tells me he misses me all the time whenever I text and reach out. You know, I remember when he first moved to Georgia, man, I would literally, for his first day of school, I would drive all the way to Georgia and I would walk him into his first day of school and I'd hop back in the car and drive all the way back to Maryland. Right?
Wow.
But that was important for me because I wanted to see those first days of school.
That's important.
Right?
Yeah.
And sure, I was tired. I was exhausted. But for me, it was the memories I was creating of him saying that in those situations at that time in my father's life, he didn't allow distance to be something that would stop him from showing up in my life.
Right.
Now, I can't do that all the time now for a number of different reasons, right? I've got a daughter here, right? But with him, I try to, you know, shoot a text message. You know, I try to call and leave a voice memo. And we try to plan at least when we can try and see each other during the year. Again, he's 16 now, so he's got his life, he's got his sports, he's got so many things that he's into.
That's that age, boy.
That's right, you know what I'm saying? And there's sometimes, you know, when I'll text him and it may be 3 days later that I'll hear from him, right? And that's a lot of parents out there who are dealing with that same thing, right? And they live in the same house. You know what I'm saying? What do you want for dinner? 3 days later, lasagna. Bro, we don't have pizza and burgers for a couple of days now. Now you were so, you know, but and there's some days definitely, man, where I physically miss my son. Right, I'm a very affectionate person with my son, where I give him hugs, and you know, even at this age in his life, when I do hug him, if he's getting off the plane, I'm meeting him at baggage claim. I'll give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. I don't care how old he is, he's still my boy. You know what I'm saying? When he is at the house and he's asleep, and I go in and knock on the door, you know, and he's asleep, and I give him a kiss on the forehead, tell him I love you, son, sleep well. You know, but there's some days where it's really hard, man, where I miss him. Like even recently, man, I was missing that boy so much, man. And he called me out the blue, and I was surprised. Like I was in the bed sleep, and I saw his name pop up on the phone. He was calling FaceTime, and
he didn't want anything. He just called the call.
He was calling to show me that he was proud of a steak he made.
Oh. That's great,
man. You know, right? So now I was in the bed. It was early. I was tired, man, and
he's cooking steak and eggs it was early.
It was at night. I was in the bed early.
Oh, okay.
And he was making some steaks. And he was like, "Hey, Dad, I just want to show you this steak I'm making." So I jumped up, man. I turned on the light, and I was like, "Man, good job. I'm proud of you." I went and woke his sister up. I was like, "Look, your brother's on the phone, right?" And even though 3 days had passed since I had previously texted him, and finally he calls, that just made my night, man.
Of course.
It made my night. And I told him that, you know, the next day I texted him, I said, "Hey, son, I just want you to know you made my night. I needed that from you. I was missing you." But it's tough at times, man.
I can imagine.
It is.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine. I would definitely want to ask you about that, because I always kind of wondered, you know, what impact that had on you from afar, not being able to see him, you know, just all the time. But you know, I know you make your effort, but still being so far away makes a difference. Like there's certain things you want to be
oh man
in in there in his face for. And like, so, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you just can't always do that. But
Let me tell you this, man. I remember his mother, my ex-wife, amazing mother, amazing woman. I remember she called me. This was, I don't know, a few years back, and she was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting him a mentor, or pairing him up with a mentor." And I ain't gonna lie, I was a little salty. I was like, he don't need no mentor. He got a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in my feelings about it, right?
Understood.
And I was like, okay, all right, and quickly I had to gather myself and say, you know what, what's best for him?
Right.
What's best for my son in this situation?
Right.
And I've always told his mother, like, I trust your judgment, meaning I trust your judgment for what male figures you have him around, right? And she has never let me down in that area as far as mentors and teachers, and I think she had him involved in Kappa League, a thing for young men, just to help build their lives up. And sure, I would love to be there. I'd love to be there when he's running track, playing football. I'd love to be there more, but I can't because I'm here. And so I just have to trust that the men she does have him around down in Georgia are there for his best interest and helping him to grow. So yeah, like I said, I was in my feelings, but I let that go, and he's done well with his mentors over the years.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I don't have the same situation, a distance, but my grandson, his father's in a different state.
Okay.
So his father has to parent from a distance.
Yeah.
But with that said, my wife and I were talking maybe a couple weeks ago last week, and about me, trying to do more with my grandson too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we do the best we can or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that his father is not here, all the time, he comes up when he can't, that type of thing.
Right.
So
Right.
I want to try to do more things with him, just him and I. You know what I'm saying? And we do a lot, but I'm gonna try to step it up more. You know what I'm saying? Be more of a presence. Even though I see him all the time, and I feel like it's not like I'm not doing enough good a job as a grandfather, nothing like that. But it's like, I should do more just because his father's not here all the time. I should do more. You know what I mean?
I think yes, it is important. I mean, because even for myself, there are step kids, bonus sons that are in the house, and it's a delicate dance, and I say that only because age. I feel like age makes a big difference, right? Like at the age where your grandson is now, he doesn't have any experiences with other men as a role like this, where he can say, "I've been let down before." Right. So you've only lifted him up, right? So you're not trying to break his perception of men, because the only perception he has right now, for the most part, I would assume, is the positivity that you bring in this household and the love that you show in this household. Now, had he perhaps been a little older and he's seen some things and been through some things, there may be a wall up. Right. And so right now, there's no wall. So this is the prime time to try and build that relationship, whatever it may be. And it could be so simple, it could be the most simplest things.
Because I mean, even, my experience, like, he's at that age now, he's starting to really pay attention and understand. Like, I could see when we talk or tell him stuff, he'd be like, what is this for? What is this for?
Yeah,
and he'll sit and think, like, when I tell him, and he'll start to figure it out. So this is the good time for me to really be a little bit more hands-on with him and, help him flourish.
Man. And I think, for what you do, even just, when we set up down here and we're getting things ready to record and he comes down, he'll remember all the cameras. He'll remember the lights.
Right.
He may not remember the details of everything.
Right.
But he won't forget those moments, no different than, God forbid, and I know this isn't you, but if you got, completely blasted one day and drunk and you were tearing up the house, he remember that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like those things would be embedded in his memory. And so right now, man, I think, you're doing an awesome job as far as just being you, and just showing up in that kind of way. For his mother, how you treat his mother. How you love his mother as as one of your bonus children, stepchildren, you're showing up. So he'll remember those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely important. By the way, he comes down here a lot when we're setting up just to see the lights and stuff like that. So it's always fun. I'm like, you can't stay down here, buddy, because he's not quiet.
Right.
He'll be asking in the middle of the show,
right?
Like, can you help me play with this? Like,
right.
We're recording right now. That's it. Now, I definitely appreciate that. But that is one of my goals, to be more hands on and spend more time with him.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah,
build that relationship.
I'm excited for that for you, man. Listen, if you ever want to do something where we take the kids out and two dads take out the kids and just bond with the kids, man.
Yeah.
I like to see stuff. I've seen stuff like that on social media before, where dads meet up at parks and all that.
I've seen that too.
And support each other.
Yeah.
Again, I think that this is an image that we don't see enough of. Is fathers, especially black fathers, showing up and doing things for their children, and with their family.
Good thing in this day and age, we're starting to see it more.
Yeah,
social media exposes us to a lot. Exposes us to a lot of craziness, but exposes us some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to see it more on my timeline, because the algorithm's always listening.
Yeah, I was just thinking
whatever you're paying attention. Now I'm starting to see more faults that y'all sending it to me now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
good, keep sending it to me.
Right.
That's what I want to see.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I do too, man. I get it in my feed now more often, and it makes me happy. So for instance, I'm a part of this hiking group or whatever. And I love to see when the fathers are like, yo, took my daughter out on a hike and took my son out. And I'm like, and I tell them, I'm like, hey, good job, Dad. Good job showing her. Like, and that's the thing. Not only do we need to see it, but I think as men, we need to convey that message of pride to that other brother, right? So when we see another brother doing this thing, we should tell them. One day I have this hoodie that my daughter gave me for Father's Day. I think it says best dad ever, right? And I threw it on one day. I didn't really think nothing about it, man. I went to the grocery store, and this guy walks up to me and puts his hand up, right? And I'm like, what is he doing? He was like, high five. I was like, why? He was like, best dad ever. And I was, I was like, wow. I mean, but it made me feel good.
Yeah.
That another man recognized, that I must be doing something okay for my children to give me a hoodie that says best dad ever.
Right.
If it wasn't the case, God knows what would be on that hoodie, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the love that he showed me in that moment to just greet me with a high five. And culturally, like, I'm thinking, I don't know this dude. He's an older white guy, no disrespect, but I mean, I don't know you. You don't know me.
Right.
But in that moment, we were both fathers.
Yeah.
And he shared that moment with me to let me know, I'm proud of you, sir, because your children obviously recognize that.
I mean, even with us starting this podcast, we've gotten feedback from friends and people who talk specifically, and people that we probably have on the show, that they were like, they love what we doing. It's like, I'm glad to see y'all brothers doing this. Like, we need stuff like this. It's like, wow, okay, we feeling the need here. You know what I mean?
I didn't realize how many people. I mean, I think I did think about it, but when you start going down that rabbit hole on social media of platforms similar to this, there are huge platforms that are doing this.
Yeah.
There's platforms like ours that are new, that are growing.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, it may impact a few people, but you're right.
Yeah.
Immediately after that first episode that we did, I had so many people who commented on the phrase that you said. What was that? A healthy
fear.
A healthy fear of your bro. That still just resonates with so many people, man.
It's the truth, man.
It's
the
really
truth. I was more scared of my father than the cops. Like if I was a kid, and I ever got arrested, I'd be like, just don't tell my father.
Right.
Like, take me to jail, whatever. Don't tell my father.
Don't tell pops.
Don't tell pops. Like, I ain't scared of y'all cops. Well, maybe more in this day and age, we scared of cops now. But back then, I'm like, I'd be like, just don't tell my father.
Yeah.
That's the type of fear I'm talking about.
Yeah.
More than the authorities with guns. You know what I'm saying? Like my father.
Yeah. But that's good though, man. I do look forward to us both diving in one day to talk about our fathers, and see, that's the thing. That's another reason why I wanted to do this with you. Your father was present.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
He was in the house.
Yep.
Even if I acted up, my father was nowhere near to say anything to me,
right.
to discipline me, to whoop me, to put me on punishment. None of that stuff. He wasn't
right.
around, right? So you bring that perspective of having a father figure present in the home, bro. Like from learning to tie a tie to shaving.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To ironing a dress shirt. You saw those things in your father, right? I didn't. I maybe at one point I remember getting letters from him, but that was letters from prison. And then at that time, I didn't know he was in prison.
Right.
I just saw Michigan Correctional Facilities and thought, oh, my dad must be the warden. Bro.
Wrong.
He was the warden, all right.
Or on the D block.
Bro.
Or on the D block. You know what I mean?
Bro, I had no idea, man. I was like, wow, my dad work at the prison. He was working all right. I can laugh about it now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the time, I mean, I didn't know, man, you know? But yeah, you had that perspective, man, and I think that's good. That's a beautiful thing, bro.
I think that's one of the things that gonna make this podcast of ours great. We have different perspectives, and like I've said before, this podcast is about fatherhood in all its many forms, because there's many forms, many situations.
Man, listen,
everybody has we're gonna be bringing on brothers here who are different situations from ours, similar situations, but how we handle things could be different.
Right.
So we can learn and grow as we continue this thing.
Yeah, there's so many conversations that need to be told. There's fathers that need to tell their story. There's
absolutely.
I think, and I have to go back and find it at some point, but someone had commented, a friend of mine who's in Florida, grew up with her in Michigan. She commented something about as a woman, you know, just the impact on fathers with daughters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so again, there's just so many stories.
So many.
About fatherhood, its impact, whether or not present or not present, how that molds us, right? If it's one thing that everybody watching this show has in common, is that we all had a father. In some way.
In some way.
We wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here. That's a
we
fact.
wouldn't be here,
That's a
right?
fact.
So in some way,
Right.
whether present or not present, that has some kind of way shaped your life.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
those are the conversations that I think excite me to just talk about with so many people.
Right. And we're definitely going to get into all the different situations as we continue to grow this thing of ours. So we had almost 30 minutes. This might have been the longest one.
It's good, brother. This is good. Good, much needed topic, man.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So that's it for us for this episode. We want y'all to continue to like, share, subscribe, spread the word as we grow this thing. And we couldn't do without you. So continue to support us. We definitely appreciate it. So until next time, see you.
Peace.
Dad.
Peace.